Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. KAMBWILI fumes over ECZ'S decision. Council officers warn to desist from change of land issue application. And Safada appeals to Ministry of Lands. Details coming through after this. Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444-726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply. And now the media news in detail. National Democratic Congress NDC leader KAMBWILI has fumed over the decision taken by the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ to cancel a stakeholders meeting at the last minute. ECZ was due to meet political players to discuss issues surrounding the electoral process leading to the 2021 general elections. Among the issues which were to be discussed include the doing away of the old voters' registers and the ongoing online voter registration. But Mr. KAMBWILI accuses the ECZ of playing some political hide and seek aimed at catching the opposition napping at the last minute. Mr. KAMBWILI has warned the ECZ not to be used by some forces, saying doing so may lead the country into a different direction. Mr. KAMBWILI said this at a media briefing at his residence in Lusaka.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia has communicated to all of us in the last 30 minutes that the meeting has been cancelled. And the reason they've given is that no, this matter cannot be discussed because there is a court case going on in which the UPND and some NGOs have gone to challenge the Electoral Commission of Zambia over these same issues of online voter registration and, of course, the doing away with the old register, countrymen and women. Should it only be sub judice when it favors the opposition? When it favors the Electoral Commission of Zambia or it favors the ruling government, it's not sub judice. Look, when there was the issue of Bill 10, the UPND did allude to the fact that we cannot continue considering Bill number 10 because there is a matter in court. The Patriotic Front, through its lawyers, and Parliament refused totally and went ahead and considered Bill 10, despite the fact that the matter was in court and it was tantamount to sub judice. In my case, when I was removed from Parliament, my case was in court. The Speaker went ahead and declared my seat vacant, despite the fact that the matter was in court. So when government is involved, it's not sub judice. But when the opposition is involved, it becomes sub judice. And if the Electoral Commission of Zambia is saying that we cannot have a meeting to discuss the issue of the electoral process because the matter is in court, then they should stop the online voter registration because it's also sub judice.
In other news, Cheshire Home Society says working towards ensuring We sincerely apologize for that interruption. We continue with the rest of the media news. Cheshire Home Society says working towards ensuring that children with disabilities have access to education is a human right. The non-governmental organization has since donated assistive devices at Machini Primary School for children with disabilities worth 200,000 kwacha. Sonis has more.
Cheshire Home Society is working adequately to ensure that children with disabilities have access to education as a human right. The non-governmental organization has donated assistive devices to Muchini Primary School in Chipata District for children with disabilities worth 200,000 kwacha. Eastern Province Principal Education Standards Officer Dr. Beatrice Bota represented the Provincial Education Officer Dr. Alan Lingambe as guest of honor.
The ministry is honored to be in the forefront of driving the agenda of inclusive education. And we would like to thank Leonard Cheshire and its implementing partners, Cheshire Homes Society of Zambia, for the commitment and dedication to the improvement of learners with disabilities in Eastern Province of Zambia.
Muchini Primary School head teacher Nelly Mumba commended the Cheshire Home Society for the gesture.
So that zonse zamene batiletera ba Cheshire Homes Chipata together with the Leonard Cheshire Society so that bana batu batandizike.
Earlier, Cheshire Home Society Eastern Province Inclusive Education Project Acting Manager Mumalubanya said his organization is committed to ensure that children with disabilities are supported with assistive devices in order for them to access education.
Cheshire Homes, in partnership with Leonard Cheshire and other funders, have been implementing an inclusive education project here in Eastern Province, based in the 5 districts, that is starting from Nyimba all the way up to Chipata. And as at now, the project has enrolled over 658 children with different disabilities. The project aims to enroll by May 2021 over 750 children. Now we expect that these children should have access to quality education in an inclusive manner.
And this is the word of thanks from one of the parents to the beneficiaries.
Mungu watikomera mtima mpaka na watipasa bungwe la Cheshire Home. Na cholinga chakuti tithandizire ndipo thandizo lamene italiwona. Lero tuona zanyongane zokuti mwana onkhalapo nokwanisa kulemba.
Government is working in partnership with Cheshire Home Society to ensure that life chances of 750 children with disabilities are made through inclusive education. Sylvester Shimba, reporting for Zanis in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
Local Government Minister Charles Banda has warned all council officers who are receiving applications for change of use to desist from doing so. Speaking when he conducted a tour of open spaces which include playparks in Lusaka, Dr. Banda says playparks are of critical importance to human life and preserving the biodiversity of the land. He says open space network modifies temperature, provides wind protection and modifies humidity. The minister has re-echoed that his ministry will not approve any change of land use for open space like playparks across the country. Dr. Banda notes that the circular that was issued in 2018, which called on the reinstatement of open spaces, whose main objective was to ensure that all residential areas are within easy access of a park, play pitch and play area.
The purpose of this tour was for us to just take a look at the open spaces and parks that we have in Lusaka. And the reasons are very simple. We would like to have these parks maintained because they play a very critical role to the way we lead our lives here in town. You know, we need places where people can have their leisure for purposes of increase the biodiversity where the flora and fauna is concerned. This can play that role. Also, they also play a role of carbon sinks to clean the air that we need so much in towns here where there's so much settlement of people. Trees help us to bring about clean air, but at the same time they also act as wind breaks to control the wind and so forth. Now if you're going to destroy everything, in the name of, development, putting up just buildings and buildings and buildings which will have no contribution to the well-being of the general community, then we're not doing anything for the good of the community. I've noticed that there is a very high appetite among some of our people to identify wherever there is open space like here and wanting to sell for personal gain. I know that there are so many applications which have come through, and I've said no, we are not going to change any play park or open space in Lusaka for personal gain or for any other development apart from ensuring that these parks take the role that they're supposed to play in as far as the development of our cities is concerned. So those of you out there who have lodged applications through the councils and you want to take up some of these parks, take it from me that the circular which was issued in 2018, October 2018, still stands. We're not going to change anything in as far as these parks are concerned. They are playing a very critical role, as I have already seen. To our friends, those unruly people that we have in society who have this great appetite of selling land anyhow, I want them to know that we are going to meet head on.
Small-Scale Farmers Development Agency SAFADA Director Boyd Mowe has called on the Ministry of Agriculture to work hand-in-hand with the Ministry of Land in ensuring that land is made available for farming activities. Speaking in Lusaka on Wednesday, Mr. Mowe explains that government policies have not favored the agriculture sector, hence failing to take its rightful place in the economy. He notes that agriculture is slowly dwindling down due to the natural critical blows such as the climate change and bad national agriculture policies. He has since called for political will and more resource allocation. Mr. Mowe says agriculture should be treated as a business in order to attract more people into the sector.
The issue of land has become a business. People are taking advantage of land to sell land in order to get something, maybe capital to start a business or other things. But this is a very big blow to the agriculture sector, because agriculture is based on the land. So if land is not well distributed, I think we are going to face a challenge. And I'm appealing to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to physically do a search or survey and try to review the policy and come up with a policy that will protect everyone and help everyone. So as a further, finally, we are looking at some good solutions that we have decided to put in place and probably work with the government of the Republic of Zambia. Is that one, we are asking the private sector, we are asking the government to recognize SAFADA as a central reaching point that will collaborate, monitor and facilitate all business activities happening in the farming community. That will help us to see the farmers progressing in their business of farming. Secondly, we are looking.
That news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, the headlines once again. KAMBWILI fumes over ECZ'S decision. Council officers want to desist from the change of land use application. SAFADA appeals to Ministry of Land. Well, that is all. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you make a date with us this evening on our main bulletin desk at 19:30 on Camnet TV, not just another channel. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Happy New Month. Good afternoon.